The HS Pioneer drifted silently through the void, its hull reflecting the distant starlight as it patrolled the outer reaches of human space. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's main viewport, her dark eyes scanning the endless expanse before her. 20 years of space exploration had taught her that the universe rarely gave up its secrets easily, but something about today felt different. "Captain, we're picking up an anomalous signal," Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez announced from his sensor station, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's unlike anything in our database." Chen turned from the viewport, her movement deliberate in the ship's artificial gravity. "Source: approximately 2 light-years out, bearing 045 Mark 12, Rodriguez replied. "The signal pattern suggests artificial origin, but it's not following any known communication protocols." The Pioneer's bridge hummed with activity as the crew worked to analyze the mysterious transmission. The ship itself was a testament to humanity's unique approach to space travel, while other species they'd encountered focused on pure energy-based technology. Humans had learned to combine multiple scientific disciplines. The Pioneer's hull contained both traditional metal alloys and quantum-stabilized materials, its engines using a hybrid of chemical propulsion and gravitational manipulation. "Signal analysis complete," announced Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's xenolinguistics expert. Her augmented reality display projected streams of data before her eyes. "It's definitely a distress call, but there's something unusual about it. The mathematical patterns suggest a level of technological advancement at least equal to ours, but the transmission method is primitive." Chen's interest peaked. In their exploration of space, humanity had encountered several alien civilizations, but most had been either far more advanced or significantly less developed. Finding a species at a similar technological level was rare. "Plot an intercept course," Chen ordered, "but maintain our stealth protocols. We don't know what we're dealing with yet." The Pioneer's engines pulsed silently, the ship's advanced stealth systems ensuring they remained virtually undetectable as they approached the signal source. Hours passed as they crossed the vast distance, the crew using the time to prepare for any contingency. As they neared the coordinates, the ship's sensors began picking up more detail. "Captain," Rodriguez called out, his voice tense with excitement. "I'm detecting a large structure in orbit around a rogue planet. It appears to be some kind of space station, but its design, it's like nothing we've ever seen." The main view screen activated, showing a massive construct that seemed to defy conventional engineering. Instead of the typical circular or rectangular designs favored by most species, this station appeared to be built in a complex geometric pattern that seemed to fold in on itself in impossible ways. "Life signs?" Chen asked, studying the strange structure. "Affirmative. Several thousand, but they're scattered throughout the station in an unusual pattern. And Captain, I'm detecting weapons fire. The station is under attack." The view screen shifted to show several sleek, predatory-looking ships firing energy weapons at the station. Its defensive shields flickered weakly, clearly on the verge of collapse. "Multiple ships detected," Rodriguez continued. "Design matches no known species in our database. They're heavily armed. And wait." He paused, checking his readings. "Captain, I'm picking up transmission fragments. The attackers are demanding surrender. They're calling themselves the Purifiers." Chen's jaw tightened. The Pioneer was an exploration vessel, but like all human ships, it was built to fight if necessary. Humanity had learned early in their spacefaring history that peace wasn't always an option. "Dr. Patel, can you decode their communications?" "Working on it now, Captain. Their language structure is complex, but our AI is adapting. They're claiming the station's inhabitants are corrupted by forbidden knowledge. This appears to be some kind of ideologically driven attack." Chen watched as another barrage of energy weapons struck the station's failing shields. The decision weighing on her shoulders was heavy. The prime directive of non-interference had served humanity well, but so had their moral compass. "All hands, Battle stations, Chen announced, her voice carrying through the ship's communication system. Dr. Patel, prepare a first contact package. Lieutenant Rodriguez, bring our defense systems online but keep us cloaked for now. Let's see if we can resolve this diplomatically first. The Pioneer's crew moved with practiced efficiency as the ship prepared for potential combat. Unlike the energy, weapon-focused designs of the attacking vessels, the Pioneer's armament reflected humanity's diverse approach to warfare. Kinetic accelerators, gravity manipulation fields, and electromagnetic pulse generators stood ready alongside more conventional energy weapons. As they watched, a particularly heavy barrage struck the station, and sections of its outer structure began to break apart. Through the gaps in the hull, emergency force fields flickered desperately, trying to maintain atmosphere for the inhabitants within. "Captain," Dr. Patel called out, her voice urgent. "I've decoded more of their transmissions. The station's inhabitants, they call themselves the Archivers. They're knowledge seekers, collectors of information from across the galaxy. The Purifiers see them as a threat to their religious doctrine of controlled evolution." Chen stood from her command chair, her decision made. The Pioneer had stumbled upon a conflict between knowledge and ignorance, between preservation and destruction. As an explorer and representative of humanity, she knew which side she had to choose. "Drop our cloak," she ordered. "Let's show these Purifiers that they're not the only ones who can fight for what they believe in." The HSS Pioneer's emergence from stealth sent ripples through the battlefield. The Purifier vessels, their sleek hulls bristling with energy weapons, paused their assault on the Archiver station. Captain Chen watched as their attackers redirected their attention, their sensor arrays no doubt struggling to categorize the unusual design of the human vessel. "They're scanning us," Rodriguez reported, monitoring the incoming data streams. "Their sensors are focusing primarily on our weapon systems. They seem confused." "I imagine they are," Chen replied, a slight smile playing at her corners of her mouth. "Dr. Patel, open a channel to the Lid Purifier vessel." The bridge's main display shifted, showing a humanoid figure with iridescent scales instead of skin. The Purifier commander's serpentine eyes narrowed as they studied the human bridge crew. "Unknown vessel, you interfere in matters beyond your understanding," the Purifier announced, their translated words carrying an edge of religious fervor. "These Archivers corrupt the natural order with their hoarding of knowledge. Stand aside or share their fate." Chen stepped forward, her posture straight but non-threatening. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the human spaceship Pioneer. We understand this is a complex situation, but we cannot stand by while you destroy a peaceful station and its inhabitants. Humans." The Purifier commander's scales shifted color slightly. "We have not heard of your species. Your ship's design is primitive. Mixed technologies, visible hull seams, kinetic weapons, a dismissive gesture. Leave now. Your inferior vessel cannot hope to stand against our pure energy-based technology." "Sir," Rodriguez interrupted, his voice low. "The station's shields are at critical. They won't survive another concentrated barrage." Chen nodded, keeping her eyes on the Purifier commander. "Perhaps before you judge our technology, you should understand how we think. Humanity learned long ago that true advancement comes not from pursuing a single path, but from finding unexpected connections between different approaches." As if to emphasize her point, the Pioneer's hybrid defense systems activated. Layers of protection shimmed into existence around the ship. Traditional energy shields merged with gravity distortion fields and quantum state barriers. The Purifier's sensors visibly struggle to analyze the overlapping defensive systems. "Your shields are impressive," Chen continued, "but they're designed to defend against energy weapons like your own. Have you ever tested them against accelerated mass drivers, or graviton pulse generators, or quantum state disruptors?" The Purifier commander's scales darkened. A sign of uncertainty, Dr. Patel's xenobiology database suggested. "You would risk interstellar war to protect these librarians." "We would risk it to protect knowledge itself," Chen responded. Humanity's greatest achievements came from learning from others, from preserving and building upon the discoveries of the past. These archivers, she gestured toward the damaged station. They're not corrupting evolution. They're ensuring that valuable knowledge isn't lost to time or dogma. Captain, Rodriguez called out suddenly. Multiple new contacts appearing at the edge of sensor range. More purifier vessels. Chen didn't flinch. Commander, you have a choice to make. You can continue this attack, and we will defend this station with everything we have. Win or lose, you'll learn exactly how primitive our technology really is. Or, she paused, letting the moment hang in the vacuum between their ships. Or we can talk. You can explain your concerns about unrestricted knowledge, and perhaps we can help the archivers establish guidelines that respect both preservation and protection. The choice is yours. The Purifier Commander's scales shifted through several colors as they considered the offer. Behind them, the reinforcement vessels drew closer, their weapon systems charged and ready. You would negotiate. The commander's tone carried disbelief. When our reinforcements will tip the balance decisively in our favor. Chen's response was to activate the Pioneer's main tactical display, sharing it with both the purifiers and the archiver station. It showed not just the approaching purifier ships, but also the complex web of quantum mines, gravity traps, and automated defense drones that the Pioneer had been quietly deploying during their conversation. Humanity learned another lesson during our development, Chen said calmly. The best way to achieve peace is to be thoroughly prepared for war. Those reinforcements would have to navigate a defensive grid that took us centuries to perfect. The question is, do you want to test it? The silence that followed was broken only by the gentle hum of the Pioneer systems and the distant crackling of the station's failing shields. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of the archivers, but humanity's first major diplomatic engagement in this sector of space. Chen watched the Purifier Commander, hoping they would recognize that sometimes the greatest strength lies in choosing not to use force. The commander's scales finally settled into a deep blue hue. Perhaps there is wisdom in hearing what these humans have to say about balance between knowledge and responsibility. The conference room aboard the Pioneer hummed with tension as representatives from 3 different civilizations gathered around the holographic display table. Captain Chen sat between the Purifier Commander, who had introduced himself as Vextal, and the Archiver Chief Curator, a crystalline being called Nexus 7. The Archiver's translucent form shifted with patterns of light as they spoke. Our archives contain the accumulated knowledge of 1,000 species, some extinct, some thriving, all contributing to the tapestry of galactic civilization. We cannot allow this legacy to be destroyed. Vextal's scales rippled with agitation. Knowledge without wisdom is a poison. Your unrestricted sharing of advanced technologies has led to the collapse of 3 developing civilizations in the past cycle alone. They weren't ready for such power. Chen watched the exchange carefully, noting how each side's technology reflected their philosophy. The Purifier's environment suit was a marvel of pure energy manipulation, while the Archiver's crystalline form incorporated both organic and technological elements. The human captain saw an opportunity in their differences. Perhaps, Chen suggested, we're looking at this from the wrong angle. Lieutenant Rodriguez, show them Project Archive. The holographic display shifted, showing a 3-dimensional representation of a human data storage system. Both alien representatives leaned forward, their attention caught by the unfamiliar design. This is how humanity stores our most sensitive knowledge, Chen explained. We combine quantum encryption with analog backup systems, digital and physical, working together. Knowledge isn't just stored, it's protected, categorized, and distributed based on the user's preparation to handle it. Nexus 7's crystalline form pulsed with interest. A hybrid system we had not considered. Our digital archives are vulnerable to energy-based attacks, as today's events proved. Precisely, Chen nodded. And Commander Vextal noticed the classification systems. Knowledge isn't freely available. It must be earned. understood in proper context. The Purifier commander studied the display, their scales shifting to a thoughtful blue hue. Your species has found a balance. Before Chen could respond, alarms blared through the Pioneer. Rodriguez's voice came through the comm system. Captain, multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They're not responding to hails. The conference room's displays automatically switched to tactical view, showing a dozen new vessels emerging from faster-than-light travel. Their design was similar to the Purifier ships, but more aggressive, covered in weapon arrays. Vextal's scales paled. Radicals. The Eternal Flame faction. They believe all knowledge should be purged, not just controlled. They will not negotiate. Chen was already moving. All hands to battle stations. Commander Vextal, will your ships support us? The Purifier commander hesitated only briefly before their scales flushed with determination. Yes, the Eternal Flame's path leads only to darkness. The Pioneer's bridge was a flurry of activity as Chen returned, taking her command chair. The tactical display showed the Radical Purifier ships moving into attack formation, their energy weapons charging. They're targeting both us and the station, Rodriguez reported. Energy readings are off the charts. Their weapons have been modified beyond normal Purifier specifications. Time to show them why diversity in technology matters, Chen announced. Deploy the Aegis Protocol. The Pioneer's hybrid defense systems activated in layers. First, conventional energy shields snapped into place. Then, gravity manipulation fields created zones of distorted space around the ship. Finally, quantum state barriers shimmered into existence, making portions of the vessel exist in multiple phases simultaneously. Fascinating. Nexus 7 observed from their position on the bridge, their crystalline form reflecting the emergency lights. Your defensive systems, they complement each other in ways we never imagined possible. The Radical ships opened fire, their enhanced energy weapons lashing out with devastating force. But where they expected to find conventional defenses, they encountered something entirely different. Energy beams were deflected by gravity fields, while attempts to target the ship's vital areas were confused by its quantum state fluctuations. Return fire, Chen ordered. Show them why humanity never relied solely on energy weapons. The Pioneer's response was unlike anything the Purifiers had encountered. Kinetic accelerators launched projectiles at relativistic speeds, their trajectories bent by localized gravity fields to arc around friendly ships. Electromagnetic pulse generators disrupted energy weapon targeting systems. Quantum state disruptors forced sections of enemy ships out of phase with normal spacetime. Their shields are optimized for energy weapons, Rodriguez reported with a hint of satisfaction. They have minimal defense against physical impacts or gravity manipulation. The Radical ships struggle to adapt, their pure energy-based technology suddenly seeming limited rather than advanced. 3 vessels fell back, their hulls breached by kinetic impacts they never expected to face. 2 more found themselves trapped in gravitational eddies, their engines unable to break free. Captain, Dr. Patel called out, I'm detecting power fluctuations in their fleet. Their enhanced weapons are destabilizing their power cores. Chen turned to Vextal. Commander, your expertise with energy-based systems, can you help us prevent their cores from going critical? The Purifier commander moved to a secondary console, their scales shifting with concentration as they worked. Yes, their modifications are dangerous, but predictable. We can use your gravity fields to contain the energy release. Working together, the Pioneer's crew and their newfound allies coordinated their response. Human gravity manipulation technology combined with Purifier energy expertise, while Archiver knowledge provided crucial insights into stabilizing the failing systems. As the battle turned decisively in their favor, Chen couldn't help but see the irony. The Radicals who sought to destroy knowledge were being defeated by the very thing they feared. The combination of different technologies and perspectives, working in harmony to create something greater than the sum of its parts. The void of space lit up with energy discharges and kinetic impacts as the battle reached its peak. The Pioneer, now fighting alongside the moderate Purifier vessels, had established a defensive perimeter around the Archiver station. But the Eternal Flame radicals weren't finished yet. New contact. Rodriguez's voice cut through the controlled chaos of the bridge. Massive energy signature emerging from FTL. Captain, it's bigger than anything we've seen yet. The tactical display revealed a vessel that dwarfed even the Archiver station. Its hull bristled with weapon arrays, each one pulsing with barely contained power. The ship's very presence seemed to distort the space around it. The Purifier's wrath, Vextal announced, their scales dark with concern. Their flagship. Its weapons are powered by an artificial star. We never thought they would risk bringing it to battle. Chen studied the massive vessel as it moved into position. That much energy. The containment systems must be incredibly complex and incredibly vulnerable. Nexus 7 added, their crystalline form flickering with rapid calculations. Our archives contain records of similar attempts to harness stellar power. The containment systems require perfect stability. A new voice boomed across all communication channels, filled with zealous certainty. Heretics and primitives, your corruption ends today. The light of purification will cleanse this sector of all tainted knowledge. The flagship's weapon systems began to charge, the artificial star at its heart pulsing with increasing intensity. Energy readings went off the scales as it prepared to unleash its full power. They're targeting the station, Rodriguez reported. That level of energy release, it would destroy everything in the system. Chen's mind raced through options, combining what she knew of human technology with the insights gained from their new allies. The containment system. It's pure energy-based technology. Yes, Vextal confirmed. The most advanced our species has developed. No physical barriers could withstand the power of a star. That's their weakness. Chen stood from her command chair. They've pursued energy technology to its extreme, but they've ignored other approaches. Dr. Patel, access the Archiver records. I need everything they have on stellar containment systems. As information flooded in, Chen outlined her plan. The Pioneer would use its gravity manipulation systems not to attack the flagship directly, but to create localized distortions in spacetime around its containment field. Meanwhile, precisely targeted kinetic strikes would create vibrations in the ship's hull, disrupting the perfect symmetry needed for stellar containment. It's insane. Vextal's scales shifted rapidly. But it might work. Their defenses are designed to stop energy weapons, not gravitational manipulation. Exactly, Chen smiled. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. Rodriguez, prepare the gravity generators. Dr. Patel, coordinate with the Archiver station to calculate exact frequencies for maximum resonance. Commander Vextal, we'll need your ships to keep their escort vessels occupied. The flagship's weapon systems reached full charge, its artificial star burning like a newborn sun. But before it could release its devastating attack, the Pioneer struck. Gravity fields warped space around the containment system, creating microscopic distortions in its carefully maintained field. Kinetic accelerators fired in precisely timed sequences, sending vibrations through the massive ship's structure. The combination of effects, each one relatively minor on its own, began to compound. Their containment field is fluctuating, Rodriguez reported. They're trying to compensate, but they can't maintain stability. The flagship's commanders, experts in energy weapon systems, found themselves facing a type of attack they had never prepared for. Their sophisticated energy shields did nothing to stop gravitational distortions, and their sensor systems, optimized for detecting energy weapons, struggled to track the source of the kinetic strikes. Warning signals across their containment systems, Vextal announced, monitoring the flagship's broadcasts. They're losing control of the artificial star. Chen opened a channel to the flagship. Your containment system is failing. Power down your weapons and abandon ship. We can help evacuate your crew. We will not surrender to primitives. The radical commander's voice was frantic. The light of purification cannot be contained. Captain, Rodriguez called out urgently. Their containment field is critical. Total failure in 30 seconds. All ships, emergency withdrawal. Chen ordered. Maximum thrust. Get clear of the detonation radius. The Pioneer's engines roared as it retreated, using its gravity systems to help pull Allied vessels to safety. Behind them, the flagship's artificial star began to break free of its failing containment. The explosion, when it came, was like watching a star being born in reverse. The flagship's containment field collapsed completely, releasing the power of its artificial star in a spectacular burst of energy. But thanks to the Pioneer's warning, all Allied ships had reached safe distance. As the light faded, the remaining radical ships powered down their weapons. Without their flagship and its leader, their zealous resolve crumbled in the face of such a decisive defeat. An impressive demonstration. Nexus 7 observed, their crystalline form pulsing with what seemed like approval. Your species has much to teach us about the value of diverse approaches to technology. As do you, Chen replied, watching as rescue operations began for the surviving radical crew members. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson here. No single path holds all the answers. It's in combining different perspectives that we find the best solutions. 3 weeks after the battle, the Archiver station had been transformed. Where damage once scared its unusual geometric structure, new sections now gleamed, incorporating elements of human, purifier, and archiver design. The station had become a symbol of what different civilizations could achieve together. Captain Chen stood in the newly constructed Grand Archive chamber, watching as teams from all 3 species worked to integrate their technologies. Holographic displays showed the progress of repair efforts, while quantum-encrypted data streams transferred centuries of accumulated knowledge into new hybrid storage systems. Your proposal for a joint council of knowledge has received approval from Earth Central, Chen told Nexus 7 and Vextal, who stood with her overlooking the chamber. Humanity would be honored to participate in this exchange of ideas and technologies. Vextal's scales shimmered with thoughtful colors. The moderate factions among my people are still adapting to this new approach, but they cannot deny the results. Already, the integration of human gravity manipulation technology with our energy systems has solved problems that plagued us for generations. And our archives are more secure than ever, Nexus 7 added, their crystalline form refracting the chamber's light. The combination of purifier energy barriers, human quantum encryption, and our own storage methods has created something truly unprecedented. The chamber's main display activated, showing a real-time map of the sector. Dozens of ships moved through the surrounding space. Purifier vessels now equipped with hybrid defense systems, human ships learning to incorporate energy-based technologies, and archiver research vessels studying the combined innovations. The radical faction has been surprisingly quiet, Chen observed, studying the tactical data. No signs of renewed aggression. They are learning, Vextal replied. The battle showed them the flaws in their absolutist thinking. Many have requested access to the archives, seeking to understand rather than destroy. Under proper guidance, of course. A notification chimed softly, drawing their attention to a new arrival. The HSS Odyssey, Earth's first dedicated diplomatic vessel, emerged from FTL travel near the station. Its design reflected the lessons learned from recent events, a harmonious blend of technologies from all 3 civilizations. The first of many, Chen smiled. Earth's Council has authorized the establishment of a permanent diplomatic presence here. They're calling this sector the Convergence now, a place where different paths of advancement meet and merge. Nexus 7's form pulsed with rapid patterns. We have been studying your species' history. Your development was unique among all the civilizations in our archives. Where others specialized, you diversified. Where others sought perfection in one area, you sought harmony between many. Necessity, Chen replied. Earth's resources were limited, its environments diverse. We had to learn to use everything available to us, to find connections between different fields of study. What some saw as primitive or unfocused became our greatest strength, a strength that will help guide us all forward, Vextal acknowledged. The Joint Council will ensure that knowledge is both preserved and properly understood. No more extremes, neither unrestricted access nor total suppression. Through the chamber's viewport, Chen watched as ships from all three civilizations moved in coordinated patterns, conducting joint training exercises. The pioneers' actions had opened a door, showing what was possible when different approaches worked in harmony. Captain, Rodriguez's voice came through her communicator. Long-range sensors are detecting unusual signals from the unexplored regions beyond the convergence, possible signs of another civilization. Chen shared a look with her alien colleagues. Well, she smiled. Shall we see what other perspectives are waiting to be discovered? Nexus 7's crystalline form brightened. The archives contain no records of signals matching these patterns. A true unknown. Then we will approach with wisdom, Vextal added, their scales showing eager but controlled colors. Neither fearful nor reckless, but ready to learn. As they prepared to investigate the new mystery, Chen reflected on how far they had come. The battle had proved humanity's worth among the stars, but the real victory was in what came after, the bridges built, the knowledge shared, the boundaries between different paths of development dissolved. The convergence would stand as a testament to a fundamental truth, that the greatest achievements come not from the pursuit of a single path, but from the courage to explore many, and the wisdom to bring them together into something greater than the sum of their parts. Above them, the stars beckoned, holding countless more opportunities for different civilizations to learn from each other, to grow together, and to forge new paths into the unknown future that awaited them all.